The new Expeditions game is unlike any runner game we've seen before, so here are 14 beginner tips in 7 minutes to get you started in Expeditions, a Mudrunner game. The first tip is how to unlock the free roam feature. This is going to be easiest in the Little Colorado map. If you go to the top where it says free roam, down at the bottom you see it says complete Stoneford Expedition. So all you would need to do is complete this one and then it would unlock the free roam. Now, once you get to the Arizona and Carpathians maps, for example, in order to unlock the free roam, you have 4 or 5 expeditions you have to complete before that happens, because each time you go to the expedition it wants you to complete, it gives you another expedition that is a prerequisite. So it is possible, but it's going to take you more time on these 2 maps than in Little Colorado. It's worth noting that you can also freely explore after you complete each mission and before you return to headquarters. Here is how you are going to be able to switch trucks on missions. You don't have to just take one vehicle, you can take up to 4. And then for whatever reason, if you want to switch trucks, you're going to pop open your map and then go over here to where you see objects all the way on the right, and there you can switch to your other vehicle. And now that you know how to switch vehicles, what about recovering back to base? Let's say you are just completely stuck and you just want to go back to base. All you would do is open that same map button and then go over here to the object screen and scroll down to where you see outposts and gates. And then you can expand the menu and you can choose to go back to your main field operations base, and you will see a recovery option. It's going to be Y on controller, or it looks like your mouse wheel. You can also choose the outpost that you begin your mission. For example, for the Stoneford expedition, it wants to start you at the eastern outpost all the way over here, even though your ultimate destination is going to be over here by your main field operation base. So what you can do, and this is kind of a dirty cheat if you ask me, it really cheats you out of experience, but you can select to start it at your field operation base, and then you will begin very close to your destination. There are 3 items that I bring with me on pretty much every expedition. If you go into your inventory, you can add anchors, it's a 5-pack, and jack screws. Those will be extremely helpful, and if you don't have them, you're probably going to want them. The other item you're probably going to want is fuel. However, if you don't have a vehicle with a sideboard, you're not going to be able to add it. So you're going to want to customize your vehicle and purchase an accessory that'll give you cargo. For example, side-mounted rack. Roof rack will hold 6. You can get an armored bumper that holds 1. Once you buy an accessory, you can fill the slots and purchase the gas. And there's your extra canister of fuel. If you find yourself in an area where you need to use a winch, but you don't have a winching point, you can go ahead and open your inventory, assuming that you brought an anchor with you. Click on the anchor and put it anywhere within this radius. And now you can winch yourself to safety. Another way to use an anchor is to rappel down the cliff. Set your anchor, attach your winch, and then say a prayer. The only problem is, if the winch isn't long enough, you're going to be left somewhere like this. Here is a much better executed example of using an anchor to drop down a cliff. It does help if you have more than one anchor with you in case you need another on the way down. Thankfully, this one had a happy ending. We all love those, right? So what happens if you flip your vehicle? Well, if you have brought a jack screw with you, you are in luck. You can equip it, and you can pick where you want to respawn your car. You can rotate the car and place it exactly where you want. This is essentially a vehicle respawn, and it's awesome. Here is what I do with extra items when I'm finished with a mission. I get my rewards, and instead of going back to headquarters, I click B to continue. See how I still have 4 anchors and 2 jack screws? And then you can open up your map and go to your base. Once I'm at my base, I open up the trading. I'm going to transfer these back to my base module, and then I'm going to open up my menu and return to headquarters. I could be wrong, but I think this is the only way to keep the items that you bought. Otherwise, you will be forced to sell them back at 50% of the purchase price when you end your mission. If you want to plan your route, which I highly recommend you do, you can simply place the waypoints on your map like so. And if you make a mistake, you can hover over and using the same button that you placed it, you can move it around or you can delete it. So if you want to add one, you can add one there and then you can move it. Let's talk about tire pressure. If you are in mud or you have lots of rocks to climb, you can open up your tire inflation system and you can reduce the pressure half or all the way to low pressure. This is regular tire pressure. This is reduced tire pressure. See the difference? Regular tire pressure, reduced tire pressure. Whenever you get near water, I always recommend opening up your devices and using your echo sounder. That's like a sonar for underwater, and it will tell you whether or not it is really deep. Green and yellow are usually okay to cross depending on the vehicle you have, but I would steer clear of red and orange. I'm near another body of water. I'm going to activate my sonar, and I see that it's mostly green and yellow, so I know it's okay to cross. And I wouldn't go in that red area if I were you. If you ever need help finishing exploring an area for a mission, you can deploy your drone. This is a great way to completely explore an area, especially one that is hard to drive through. To quickly attach your winch, you can press Y on controller or F on keyboard. Now let's talk about the metal detector. It's a bit confusing, but if you have it equipped on your vehicle and you see it start to glow white, you can open up in the devices menu, use your metal detector, press the button to detect, and then it will show you a color and a relative direction. Red is going to be for resource items. It often lights up at your base. Blue is for items, and then green will be vehicle upgrades. And then if you look ahead, you can see an icon. We have an anchor on the left, and that's probably going to be that airdrop that you see. And then towards the right, there is a jack screw. If there's nothing marked on your map like this, it can be handy to have the metal detector. If you have tips for Expeditions Mudrunner Game, drop them like it's hot in the comments below. And if you want to watch a middle-aged chick wreck her jacked up whip through the Expeditions maps, feel free to join my convoy. Later, truck nerds.